and jumped in front of Siobhan. That was crazy. I mean, it was really brave. But now here you are, hurt, and that bodyguard's dead, and Tiso doesn't even have a scratch on him, and he's the one they were after. Thank goodness, I mean, I know it's really awful that all this happened because of him, but it wasn't really his fault. Johnny, is Maeve any better? She seems to be holding it all in.
Something to be said for that.
Yeah, she's on her way to the precinct to look at mugshots. Look, I need your help, Dee.
My help?
Well, Jack is not available. I can't clean up downstairs and mind the both kids, would you please? Give me a hand with Ryan and little John.
Well, I really would, but I don't think that they should see me shaking again. There's no reason to scare them. I gotta get out of here. I don't feel safe.
Where are you gonna feel safe today, Dee?
The zoo. I'm going to the monkey house.
Visiting friends?
Yeah, I know the keeper there. He's really nice. And a wonderful gorilla. Goodbye.
Have a swell time. I'm sorry I'm not much good at the moment.
Well, wouldn't be appropriate of me to complain, Jack. Seeing as how you got that way protecting my daughter.
Well, don't let that stop you, Johnny. When have you ever worried about what's appropriate?
Okay, Jack, you want all my feelings on the matter?
Not particularly, but I'm sure you'll give them to me.
Yes, I'd like to give you more than that. You may be responsible for saving my daughter's life, but you're also responsible for messing it up. Joe Novak checked out clean, right?
Look, I did not force Siobhan to marry Joe. If anyone did that, Johnny, you did.
Nobody forces Siobhan to do anything, but none of this had to happen. You introduced them. You assured her, you reassured her. You're the guy who sets things in motion, gets them all stirred up, and then cuts out.
Here we go again, huh? We're not talking about Siobhan. We're talking about Mary. She died because we had a disagreement, huh? Her car went over an embankment because she was mad at me.
Jack, you're the one who's saying these things. I am not. All right? Matter of fact, Mary was in a rush. She was trying to get to Siobhan's wedding, which, God help me, you're as much responsible for as anybody else. And nothing's been the same since. Death, chaos, gangsters at my door. A perfectly normal, happy, peaceful family turned into shambles because of you and your pals.
Yeah.
Who's this?
Member of the family. Who's this?
Oh, Jack, I'm sorry I didn't recognize your voice. It's Roger Coleridge.
Hello, Roger. A little wild around here this morning.
Yeah, I can imagine. The papers were full of it. Were you hurt?
Oh, it's not serious.
I'm glad to hear that. Is Dee all right?
Well, she was upset, but you know, Dee, she's resilient.
Well, everybody has their limits. May I speak to her?
Well, she's not here, I'm afraid.
Well, do you know where she went?
I might try the monkey house at the zoo.
Well, I'm surprised you're in a mood to make jokes.
I'm not joking. That's where she said that she was headed. You want to see her, I checked there.
The monkey house. Very well, thank you, Jack.
Sure. So long.
What'd you find out?
What we already knew.
They'll pay.
Certainly. Where's Siobhan?
Upstairs. Hey, how well covered are you?
Eddie and Mario were in the car, and Fonny and Vic are out in the alley.
I won't be coming to your house again for a while. Mainly, I want to tell you there's going to be trouble. Lots of it. Wally wants my operation. He has people.
So do you. You're going to stop them now, aren't you? You can't pretend this hasn't happened.
You have a new loyalty, Joy.
Nothing's changed between you and me, Tiso. You know that. It's just that I don't have only myself to think about now. I've got a wife to protect, I promised.
So have I. I honor my promises. That was a little slip-up last night. It'll never happen again.
I have to have your assurance on that.
I respect that, Joey. What is it you want to hear?
That you'll move against them fast? That there'll be enough soldiers around to keep the neighborhood safe for her?
I've already called in our friends. Nobody will bother you, two of you, if you stay here in our territory.
How can you be sure of that?
I've been running things for 31 years. I'm alive today because I know how to be sure. Sweetheart, are you okay?
Barely. How are you? You shouldn't be out.
Oh, this is my home ground. They won't come after me here. Besides, I'll never do it again.
Are you sure?
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry your family got mixed into it. Thank God it wasn't any worse. And that your brother-in-law can move fast.
He could have been. Well, I'm not trying to think about that now. You sound as though you know who did it.
Oh, somebody trying to settle an old debt. They got one of my men, but it's all finished now.
Especially for Marty.
Oh, yes, that was sad. Joey, I think you and me ought to go and pay a call on his widow.
Is that safe?
Oh, you know how I feel about my nephew. Don't think that I would take him where it wasn't safe?
I'll keep it brief. In the meantime, you stay put. Put on some coffee, and I'll bring home some Danish.
Please be careful.
Okay. So long.
Hello?
Siobhan.
Jack? Oh, boy. Am I glad that you called. How are you? What's the arm like?
It hurts like hell.
I'm sorry. How's everybody doing there?
Well, your mother's pretty good. She went over to precinct straight from Mass.
Yeah, of course.
The kids are with Mrs. Shaw. They don't know anything as far as we can tell. And your father, wondering if I have enough strength in one arm to strangle him.
That bad?
Worse.
Where does he get off? I mean, making things difficult for you after what you did. You're a hero. Joe knows that. Even Tizo does.
Yeah, look, the reason I called is to find out how you are.
I'm going to come up there.
No, I don't know, Siobhan.
Yes, yes, unless you don't want company.
Well, I'd love your company, but under the
No
circumstances...
buts. I want to talk to you, and I'd like to talk to Daddy. He's not being fair.
You've got enough to handle. I'm used to ignoring him.
Oh, I'll just pretend like it's a little visit. He'll see how together I've got my act. That'll be quite a job, but I want to come home, so let's just not analyze this, okay?
Okay.
Great, I'll see you in about an hour.
Great.
So long.
Remember me? I usually come with my little boy. This time I decided to come by myself. Things are kind of terrible where I live. You know, I could almost envy you. It might not be too bad to live in a cage if somebody came to take care of you every day. They have such a thing as a bulletproof cage.
Hi.
Oh, hi, Mr. Douglas. You must think I'm crazy talking to her like that.
I talk to him all the time. Okay, kid, it's school time.
School?
I'm teaching him to talk. Sign language. No, wait a minute. I know you want one. But you have to ask. Banana. Banana. I know you want one. Show me. Here. Banana.
Doesn't he get upset if he thinks you're teasing him like that?
No, he trusts me. He knows I want him to do something, but he doesn't know what it is. Banana. Banana. That fella. We'll keep it up. He'll catch on eventually.
Well, anybody can see how smart he is.
He's socially advanced. Tuned in to people. Very sensitive fella. I've been with him ever since he was a baby. Of course, there's one school of thought that argues that this sign language isn't an intellectual process at all, merely imitative behavior.
Like monkey see, monkey do?
Right. But I don't think so. I think one day he'll make the connections. One day I'll come in here, and he'll go like that. You see? He knows we're talking about bananas.
Can I give him one?
Oh, I don't think that'd be safe. And you wouldn't want him nibbling on one of your fingers.
Oh, he doesn't look like he'd nibble anything.
Why don't I give him one in your name?
Okay, it's Delia.
I remember. Albert, this is from your friend Delia. He says thank you very much. Will you have lunch with me someday?
What, in there?
I meant me.
Oh. Oh, that's really nice, but I don't...
Oh, excuse me, am I being dumb? I mean, I saw you with a kid, but I didn't see a wedding ring or anything, so I thought maybe you were divorced or something.
Well, not exactly. Not yet, anyway.
Delia?
Roger. How did you know I was here?
Jack told me.
Oh, well, it so happens that this is where I come to get away from my problems.
Excuse me, I think there's some chimps down here who would like the rest of these.
Oh, it's nice talking to you.
Dee, I was worried after what happened last night, and I was hoping maybe we could talk.
Roger, I'm not interested in anything you could have to say. Hi. Is it any better?
Well, your father's the same. The arm is lousy, so I'll probably be lousy company.
Oh, you're excused. If you hadn't been such good company last night, I'd probably be dead.
I doubt that.
Well, don't. I thought I should use the front stairway. Eventually I'll be able to face going downstairs, but I need to deal with reality little by little.
Yeah, well, it was real, all right.
I suppose that arm doesn't give you much chance to get it off your mind, huh? I'd hurt for you if I could.
I know.
Well, is there anything I can do?
Mm-hmm. Be careful.
I used to hate those words. Ma used to say that when I was a kid. Every time I was having fun or being a little too adventurous, like walking on a wall or swimming out too far or doing something else wonderful. She'd always yell, Siobhan, be careful, and it only made me want to do it all the more, you know, just to prove that I was all right.
Well, it's not appropriate under the current situation.
I know. I can tell the difference because I wasn't scared all those times. But this time... Jack, I've never been so terrified as I was last night. I mean, I'm frightened for myself. I'm frightened for Joe. All of us. No matter what anybody else thinks, Tiso is a part of my family now, and I love him.
If you're smart, you keep your distance from Tiso for a while.
I know. It just never occurred to me, you know, even if all those stories were true, that all of the people I love would be in danger.
Oh, you finally got some sense into your head. Better late than never, I say, huh?
Lay off it, Johnny.
Now, look. You and I have an understanding about running your daughter's life, okay? She happens to be my daughter.
Yeah, and she's just been through the ringer, okay?
And whose fault is that, huh?
Daddy, please. If we're going to discuss this, why don't we just be rational? What good is laying blame?
What is rational about a man lying dead in my saloon? What's rational about my son-in-law catching a bullet that's meant for your in-law? What's going to happen next?
Siobhan!
Damn it. Told her to stay put.
Roger, I want you to go away and leave me alone.
I want to talk to you.
Well, I don't want to listen to anything you have to say. Of course, that never occurred to you.
I read in the paper what happened at the bar last night. Now, are you all right?
No. It was the most horrible experience of my life. And I'm not exaggerating either. One minute everything's quiet and calm, and all of a sudden these men come in and they're shot. I could have been killed.
Must have been awful.
It was. I was really scared, Roger. I don't want to discuss this with you.
Why don't we go somewhere? We'll have some coffee.
No, I told you I want to be alone. I want to be quiet and safe. That's why I came here. If I'd have known you were going to follow me, Please, just go away, Roger.
I can't.
You won't.
I love you.
Well, it's too late, even if I did believe that. Now, I don't want to see you. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to have anything to do with you. I know that may be difficult for you to believe, but try real hard. Excuse me, really hard. I forgot how particular you are.
Dee, don't do this. I want you with me.
Well, you can't always have everything you want. That's what you used to tell me, right?
Delia!
Just go away!
No, I'm not going anywhere. Now, I've got some things that I want to say to you, and you're going to listen to them whether you like it or not.
Managed to calm him down. He's rooted safely behind the bar. Gives him a feeling of security.
The mob of reporters down there?
Just a few. Most of them have gone. Daddy's taking care of them.
Oh, good. That'll keep them off my back for a minute, anyway.
He's scared. I am, too. You know, I wouldn't admit this to anybody else but you. Guess I'm just being kind of stupid. That's a question.
I know.
Do you have an answer?
What happened last night may have been an unrelated incident. Tiso could be telling the truth. Old enemies out to settle an ancient score.
You don't think so?
No. No, it looks to me like the beginning of a gang war. I've already put out some feelers. So far, nothing's come back.
You know, you read about that kind of thing in the movies. I see it in the movies and you read it in the paper. You just never...
Yeah, it does happen. The question is whether or not it's happening to you.
Well, I guess if it's true, it means that Tizo's...
Yeah.
So I can't just ignore this, look away. Doesn't mean that Joe's involved.
You don't know that.
I love him. I would know.
I hope you're right.
I am. I'll get it.
That's another reporter. Tell him territory's covered.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Jack. How's your shoulder?
Fine, thanks.
Are you okay?
I'm fine. I left a note saying that I was coming here. Didn't you see it?
Yeah, I did. The next time, wait for me, will you?
Why, Joe? What'd you expect to happen to him?
I didn't expect
You
anything.
rush in here looking like you don't know what you're going to find. You warned Siobhan not to...
Come on, Jack. That isn't what I said.
Yes, it is.
All right. Look, I don't want to scare you, but...
Why should she be?
Will you let me finish, please? I was thinking about last night in the attack, and I realized that Tizo's enemies are crazy. That means we're going to have to be careful. I want you to stay close to me for a few days, not go walking around by yourself. You can understand that, can't you?
What I understand is that's exactly the kind of situation you promised Siobhan would never be a part of.
It won't be for that long, just till whatever's going on dies down.
What is going on, Joe?
Jack.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Look, Jack, I've told you, you know as much about this as I do, obviously. Some old enemies of Tizo's.
Siobhan gonna find herself in the middle of a gang war?
My uncle has retired from that business.
Anybody make any contacts with him after last night? I mean, were there any more warnings, any follow-ups?
No. Hey, look, you're the guy who told the whole town that I was clean. What's going on
We're not
here?
talking about you now. You told me that Tizo's involvement is in the past. Well, obviously, that's not true. Something's going on. It's happening here. It's happening now. And I don't want to see anything happen to Siobhan because of it.
What do you think I do?
No, I don't.
Well, thanks.
Okay, maybe there's another solution then.
Like what?
Well, if this is an ancient problem,
It is?
well, it's going to be settled before too long. In the meantime, I can't help feeling that you're both in danger until it is.
As long as we're careful.
Well,
I
that's
don't see
no guarantee. Look, why don't you and Siobhan go away for a while? Well, finish your honeymoon. Take as long as you need. A month, 6 weeks. Let Tizo take care of it. And then when things have blown over, you...
No, can't do that.
Well, why not? Obviously, money's no problem. You got people to run your fishing fleet.
Can't do that to Tizo. Not as long as I know he's in danger.
Well, what good is your being here going to help him? What, are you going to go after the guys yourself?
I'm not carrying a gun, if that's what you're asking.
Tizo has bodyguards. Let them take care of him.
There isn't anything I can do to protect him. But if there were, yeah. Yeah, I probably would. But I can be here, and I'm going to be.
Maybe expose Siobhan in the process.
No.
I understand.
I know you do.
It's all right, really. Please don't worry. I'm going to be careful. We both will.
Well, let's just hope that it's not out of your hand.
He and I had been drinking. We'd been together that whole afternoon.
You don't have to explain anything. I was there, remember?
But that's why I was drinking, because of us. I had
Wait a
tried...
minute, which us is this? Ray and you or you and me? I get confused.
Delia, I missed you. That's why I went looking for you out at Siobhan's. And I waited for your call the whole next day, and I didn't hear from you, and I didn't know whether you were still angry or you didn't care anymore. I don't know what I thought. I just wanted to fix things. I wanted you to come back. And that's why Ray suggested that we write the letter.
Ray suggests?
Yes, because she saw how I feel. She was helping me put it down on paper, and that's all that happened between us that afternoon.
Well, I'm sorry you wasted all that time. Think of all the fun you missed, but I'm sure you made up for it.
Delia, damn it, will you try to understand what I'm telling you?
I do understand. Your mistress helps you write love letters to your wife. Who couldn't understand that? So sophisticated and mature. Reminds me of those boring Swedish movies with subtitles you used to drag me to all the time to broaden my horizons. Well, aren't you glad you finally found somebody whose horizons are already broad enough? Maybe I should come home. And then Ray could move in with us. Wouldn't that be mature? Then you could take her to those lousy movies, and I could stay home and cook and clean for you, and you'd have everything you ever wanted.
Damn it, will you shut up and listen to me for 1 minute?
No, I won't, and I don't have to anymore. Now you go away. You're upsetting Albert.
What?
Prince Albert, that's his name. He's very sensitive, and when people start yelling...
Who cares? I'm standing here trying to save our marriage, and you're blithering around about some damn monkey.
Well, it's too late.
It isn't too late. We can begin again. I'll give you the money to pay Dan Fox what you owe him. That way, you'll never have to see him again. We can put this whole part of our life behind us.
I don't need your money.
Delia, don't be stupid. I'm offering you a chance.
Isn't that generous?
Yes, as a matter of fact, it is.
Well, don't worry about it, because I don't owe him anything anymore. And even if I
When you
did,
paid him back?
No. Tizo took care of it. He went to see him, and he convinced him to forget about the loan and to tear up the note on Ryan. So you see, it is all over, and I don't need your money. I don't need you. I'm independent. That's what you always wanted, isn't it? Maybe you don't like it when I'm independent of you, too. Well, go away now.
I told you I'm not going anywhere.
And I told you to leave
See
me
ya.
alone.
That's very funny.
Thank you, Albert.
Edie, I came after you today because I thought I wanted you back. I swallowed every bit of pride I had left. I wanted to be your friend, and I wanted to help you.
I have all of that I need.
Tizo, Novotny, and a gorilla. Well, that's staying true to form, Dee. Honey, you're in a lot more trouble than I thought. Goodbye, Dee. Don't worry. I'll never do this again.
I'm working, Ed. Ed, here, I'm working. Hear this? I'm working and I'm finished. Okay, good. See? Some people have no respect for the artistic mind.
Excuse me? Hi.
You're not my editor.
No, I'm sorry.
So am I. Come in. I know you.
You are Wes Leonard, aren't you? I mean, I guess you are, but it's been so long. Well, his name's on your desk, so...
Delia.
Yes. We met once at Ryan's when you came by to pick up Siobhan, but I wasn't sure you'd remember me.
Oh, no, you left an impression. Here, have a seat.
Thank you.
All right.
Well, how are you?
Well, I don't know, considering the broken heart. I mean, not only did Siobhan run off and get married, but to not even invite me to the wedding. I don't know.
Oh. Well, she told me about that. She was afraid that if she did, that when they got to the part about if anybody knew any reason why these two people shouldn't, that you would come up with one.
Smart girl. You give her my best, all right?
Okay.
She'll know what I mean.
All right.
Say, I understand you had quite an evening at Ryan's last night.
Oh, yeah, it was terrible.
I'd like to ask a few questions about that if I could.
Oh, well, I wasn't there, so I really couldn't tell you anything. I bet you're wondering why I'm here.
I'm going to be frank. The thought crossed my mind.
Well, actually, I wanted to ask you about last night's shooting. I know you weren't there either, but, see, I can't go to the family because they're emotionally involved on account of Siobhan, and I needed what do you call it,
An impartial observer.
Okay, yeah. Anyway, Tizo Novotny has been very nice to me, and I've gotten to like him. And he's also been especially nice to this friend of mine. And in fact, they've gotten involved in a business way, and I was a little worried about it.
Would this friend be anybody I might know?
Oh, no. You think I mean me? Well, I know when most people say they want to talk about this friend, that they usually mean themselves, but not me. I really have a friend. I mean, I have lots of friends. I'm always very popular.
I'm sure.
Well, anyway, this friend met Tizo, and I feel sort of responsible because they met at a dinner party that I was giving. I give lots of dinner parties. And he offered to set her up in this business that she would run, but he would be the silent partner.
What kind of business?
A string of boutiques. Now, he says it's going to be honest and legitimate, but I thought it would be a good idea if I asked a few questions.
For this friend?
Yeah. Well, I think it will be honest and legitimate, but when she... I almost told you her name. I can't do that. It's not that I don't trust you, but if she left... Oh, I just did it. I'm so stupid. Oh, will you promise not to tell who it is?
No, absolutely. This is strictly off the record. And I'm sure that there are 2 million Sheilas in the naked city.
Thank you so much. Anyway, what do you think about the deal?
Well, I don't know, given Novotny's reputation and the way these things usually work, I'd say that the possibilities are relatively clear. Number one, he could be looking to get involved in a legitimate business, but the thought of the Tiso Novotny line of evening wear does tend to boggle the mind. Here's the black. That's okay. Number two, he might be planning to use the boutiques as a way of explaining his illegal income. I mean, if the stores are doing lousy business and suddenly the books start showing large profits, then it's obvious that he's just using her to launder his money. And the third possibility, and most likely, is that he's just looking for a cover operation.
You mean to, like, cover criminal activities and stuff?
And stuff, mm-hmm.
But it doesn't have to be.
Oh, well.
Well, I mean, I know everybody thinks that Tiso's a crook, but... Well, like, when Siobhan first met you, everybody thought you were terrible, but then she said she found out you were really pretty nice.
That girl's gonna ruin my reputation.
Well, anyway, this is very important. Sheila's very desperate, and she's always wanted a business of her own, and she was counting on us very much. You really think it could be dangerous?
Could be.
Oh, well, I don't know whether to try to talk her out of it or let her take her chances and pray everything works out for the best.
Well, I'd say the best thing you could do is just lay out the facts for her and let her make up her own mind.
I think she'd probably do it anyway.
Well, in that case, I suggest that you tell her to get somebody in with whom she can trust, somebody who can help her out if she needs it. Because if she's going into business with Tiso Novotny, I would say that the chances are that she's going to need as much help as she can get.
Oh, this is perfect. It must be right or you wouldn't be here.
Honey, I think you're spending too much time in that monkey house.
See how beautifully we work together? You make jokes, I laugh. Bobby, I'm about to change your entire life. Would that be okay?
Know about my entire life, but I'd kind of like to stay in the neighborhood. You can chuck the rest of it, though, that's for sure.
I hope you're serious, because I'm talking about big changes. A real...
Major shakeup.
There we go again. We're amazing together.
Well, you like major shakeup. I remember that from Washington. Honey, what the hell's going on?
Money. Excitement. Glamorous people.
Well, that sounds good so far.
Bobby, we're a comedy team. We're going to be an act in the restaurant.
Oh, hold on now. Now she's coming in for the landing. What restaurant?
The one I just bought. Oh, Bobby, it's wonderful. It's huge, and it's in the park, and it's all mine. And I'm terrified. That's where you come in, or would come in, if it gets approved by everybody. Maybe I should start at the beginning.
Yeah, that might help.
Well, my commodities turned around, and I got rich again.
Right.
Right? Oh, no. I diversified.
Well, honey, that's fantastic. Who's your broker now?
No, it's no. I always forget the name.
Norton and Tyler?
That's it. I always want to say Norton Taylor. I don't know why. Norton and Tyler. But anyway, they're wonderful. Much better than Grimley and Fox. Especially Fox. What are you doing? Drawing on the paper? Is that a boat?
Yeah. This is the shipping and mails report here. See there right above weather and tides? Export-import information. I just can't keep away from it.
You really don't like the exporting business, do you? Well, Bobby, I might have a new job for you.
Well, honey, yeah, I kind of figured that out, and it's real sweet of you, but I don't know if I really want to get involved in security work right now. I mean, I think it's fantastic about that restaurant, though. You started that all on your own? You didn't have any backers, anything like that?
Security work? You mean like a guard?
Well, I've got a good police background, I know, but...
Well, I want you to manage the place. I never even thought about guards. Do you really think we need them?
Well, you said you were terrified, and that's where I came in.
Oh, well, I meant
see, I would be wonderful at decorating everything and getting the talent lined up, but as far as running things on a day-to-day basis, you know, like keeping records and deducting Social Security, that's what scares me. And also the park, after dark anyway. When I turn off the lights and lock up and step outside, it'd be really nice to have my brother there with me.
Well, you know I've never done anything like restaurant work.
Well, you run that whole importing, exporting thing. Don't you manage that?
Yeah?
So?
Is this a firm offer?
As far as I'm concerned, it is. I just have to check it out. But it's almost firm.
Who do you check with?
The bank. They want all the specifics on paper. Don't ask me why, but you can't beat 'em, join 'em, right? Anyway, I should know for sure by tomorrow. Do you mind waiting that long? And if it's okay, will you do it?
Well, no to the first question, yes to the second one. Just a second.
Yes! Bobby!
Yeah, hello, Ryan's. Reed speaking. Shh. Go ahead. You're sure of that? Oh, my. All right, look, all right, keep in touch, all right? Fine, thank you.
What happened?
Oh, it's a phone call I've been expecting. Basically, it's bad news.
Well, what is it? Is it a secret, or can't you tell?
Yeah, it's a secret, honey. Listen, check with me tomorrow. I hope we can work this out, because if anybody's life needs a major shakeup, it's mine, okay? I'll see you later.
As if I can't keep a secret. Oh, Bobby, if you only knew.
Portrait keep will forms under W, or are we just all out of them?
Try T for terminal, or D for deceased. No, here, I remember. It is F for forms. See? Elementary, my dear Watson.
You're awfully cheerful.
And you are not.
Oh, yes, I am. Ha, 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 ha.
Well, I told you an apple for lunch was not enough, but oh no, you don't tell Jillian about her appetite. She has this inner alarm clock, you see, and oh, nobody can hear it except Jillian.
You are crushing the will forms.
So what? They're boring.
You're downright frisky.
I know, I am. So, let's take a nap. It'll calm me.
Thanks.
Oh, Jill.
All right, then lock the door.
Oh, good idea.
So, who's this Buddy guy you're going to see tomorrow night?
We are seeing. It's Lysistrata, and Buddy Bergen is playing the male lead, and he also wants us to look into a problem he's having with his agent.
Well, I don't know if I want to go.
And we won't go, but theater's fun. Buddy's a nice guy.
Yeah, starving actor type.
Sure, this is off-Broadway.
Sure you want an office full of starving actor types?
Hey, look, they're more interesting than will forms, right?
Yeah, but they don't pay the bills.
Frank! Yeah, right there. Hello, Mr. Reed. How's the rice business?
Well, if I'm lucky, I'll be leaving it soon. Hi, Jill.
Hi, Bob. You think you're changing jobs?
Well, maybe. I really can't talk about it now. Listen, Frank, my contact down at headquarters just got back to me. He said that Tito Novartny's part of Brooklyn has suddenly got quiet as death.
What do the police think?
Well, they think it's a gang war. There's a history of infighting about Tiso's methods. The younger guys want a bigger share of the whole narcotics organization. Tiso doesn't want to change, so all of a sudden all hell's broken loose. Starting with that assassination attempt over Ryan's.
Siobhan?
Bobby.
Does your man think Joe's involved?
Well, he mentioned Joe as a target, maybe as a way of getting at Tiso. Other than that, nothing, though.
Siobhan's got to get out of there.
Yeah?
But if Joe can guarantee her...
Joe is in no position to guarantee Siobhan's safety. I've got to get her out of there. I've lost one sister. I'm not going to lose another.
Hi. We don't open up until 11, Mrs. Coleridge.
Oh, I thought you already had a lot of customers. Well, it's like an armed camp in here. Where is he?
Who?
Tiso, of course.
I don't know.
Well, do you know when he'll be back?
Couldn't say.
You sure he's not here? He likes to spend a lot of time in the kitchen. Well, do you know where I could find him?
No, ma'am. I have no idea.
For heaven's sake, George.
You are here.
You don't have to protect me from this young lady. I'm delighted to see you, Delia.
Well, me too, to see you.
As a matter of fact, I'm sorry that you chose to move out from Siobhan and Joyce.
Oh, well, don't you think they deserve a little peace and quiet and privacy, I mean? After all, newlyweds.
Well, I suppose. But I'm just selfish enough to enjoy seeing you every day.
Well, that's nice of you. Can we talk?
Of course. So rude. Come, sit down. Some coffee?
No thanks. I feel a little shaky.
George, it's a cold day. Why don't you go and get Mrs. Coleridge a cup of hot chocolate?
Oh, I really shouldn't. I mean...
With whipped cream. Make it 2.
Well, why not enjoy ourselves while we can?
Well, life must go on, as it should. Don't let George make you nervous. He's a little overprotective of me because of the things that happened the other night.
Well, I should hope so. I've been having nightmares about it ever since. When I can't sleep, I close my eyes, I hear those gunshots and scream. I see that poor bodyguard dead on the floor and Jack hurt. I think that was awful.
I don't feel too good about it myself, but I try not to dwell on it.
Well, how do you do that?
Well, I think of other things. I go about my business.
That's exactly what I've been trying to do. And I keep running up against the same problem, and that's why I'm here. Our deal, the restaurant, I've had some second thoughts.
I suppose it's natural, you not wanting to associate with me after what has happened.
Oh, no, I don't mean it like that. Thank you. I like you. I mean, even if those people shooting at you don't. Anyway, you're supposed to be a silent partner.
That's right.
But I'm nervous. Because things do happen, don't they? And, well, a restaurant in the park, being there alone would scare me.
You won't be alone. Successful restaurant has customers. Staff, certainly.
Yeah, but not all the time. I've been around Johnny Maeve enough years to know that, there's a lot to do after hours, after the help leaves. And there's 2 of them, there's only 1 of me.
Possibly there should be someone else.
Exactly. And I know just the right person.
Go on.
My brother, Bobby.
Brother, the ex-policeman?
Yeah, that's him. He is so good. He's so sensible and so reliable. Not big on imagination, but I've got that. And he does know how to run things.
He ran things for Frank Ryan in Washington, huh?
That's right. Oh, but he didn't have anything to do with why Frank had to resign. Anyway, he's in this import-export business, and he hates it, so it's perfect. And I would feel so much better knowing I had Bobby around to count on. And he loves the idea.
You approached him?
Well, I just sort of talked about it, like, what if, blah, blah, blah.
He knows I'm involved?
Oh, of course not. You're a silent partner to everybody but me. He just thinks I made a bundle more in commodities.
I see.
So?
So, fine.
You mean fine like an all right?
You made a good case for yourself. Why should I object?
Oh, Teasel. You are wonderful. I'm really going to enjoy working with you. Thank you. I have to go. I want to go see a friend, but thank you again. And thanks for the hot chocolate, even if I didn't drink it. Bye-bye.
George. I want to see Joy. Here.
Hi.
Hey, Prince Albert. What does that mean?
I'm afraid it means Albert isn't in a very good mood today.
Oh, poor Albert. Hey, that's okay. I understand about being depressed. You don't have to act polite on my account. What is it? Something he ate?
I doubt it. More likely, he's getting fed up with his situation. He'd much rather be out swinging through the underbrush, preferably toward a lady gorilla.
Well, I thought you said he'd been in the zoo since he was a baby.
Yes, but remember, he wasn't born in captivity. Somewhere he has a memory of what it was like to be free.
So sad. I think I've been envying him.
How do you mean?
Well, he's taken care of, and he's got structure to his life. I've got all this freedom, and I don't know what to do with it. Maybe he and I should change places.
Oh, we get a larger crowd in here. He likes the idea.
Well, I don't think I'd really want to stay here. I like to come here, though. It takes me away from my troubles.
Great. I'd be happy to take you further away if you'd like. Now, luncheon invitations still stand. Or we could make it dinner. Listen, I don't always talk about only gorillas. Out on the streets, I'm just an ordinary Homo sapien.
I'm sure, but to tell you the truth, I'm sort of off all relationships. It gets too complicated, and I'm terrible at it. My last 3 or 4 were real disasters.
I'm sorry. Maybe you haven't met the right person.
Too exhausting to look. I think I should be alone for a while. Or else Prince Albert should be the only man in my life. Oh, I forgot. I brought him a present. Do you think he'll like it?
Well, I don't know. Let's see. Be right back.
Hey, Prince Albert. I brought you something. Look over there. You like it? I don't think he likes it.
We'll give him time. He can't figure out if it's friend or foe. There he goes.
I hoped he'd like it. It's hard to know what to get for him.
He's touched. So am I. I can't remember anyone ever bringing him a present besides you.
Well, I thought I should get better acquainted since I'm going to be seeing him more. I'm opening a business in the park.
Selling basketballs?
No, selling food.
Let me guess. You're not the Franks and sauerkraut type. A falafel stand. Cotton candy and knishes?
No, a real restaurant. Very fancy. All the posh people will be there. Well, we won't be open for a while. My brother's going to help me run it, but I'll be mostly in charge. There's so much to do. Organizing, decorating, and staff. I don't know where I'm going to find the right people.
Maybe I could send some of my friends from here. Albert's a little large, but the chimps would make good busboys.
Stop it!
Listen, don't laugh. They'd be great help. They're loyal, tolerant, straightforward. I'd back my charges any day. And they're saner than most of the people I know.
Oh, really?
Well, at least with an animal, you always know where you stand. Gee, I'm sorry. Albert, is that a nice way to treat a present? I'm sure he didn't mean it.
Oh, I think he did. Sure wouldn't want him to be mad at me.
What's up? About the rest. Celia was here. Problems? Maybe not, but I want your advice. It seems she's getting cold feet about running the place by herself. She is just nervous because of recent events.
That's understandable.
She needs help. She wants somebody to lean on.
Shouldn't be difficult. Pick someone out.
She already has, only not one of our people. Her brother.
Bob.
Yes, ex-detective. What do you think of him?
For ordinary purposes, he's a good man. You've met him, right? Big, kind of bearish-looking guy, quiet-spoken, very straight, smart, and decent.
Of course. Family man?
Bachelor. Siobhan tells me he carried the torch for Mary Ryan for years.
Too bad.
What'd you say to Dee?
I told her yes for the time being. She'd have pulled out of the deal otherwise. But if it's a bad idea, I'll make other arrangements. What do you think?
An ex-cop should give the place a good reputation. He'll invite his buddies, they'll enjoy themselves, and leave it alone.
That's exactly my thinking.
Why'd you ask?
Because I value your opinion. And I think it's time we checked each other for how we think. With Bob Reed on the premises, we'll be kept on our toes.
Nothing we can't handle. I wish it were our worst problem. Have Wally's people made any moves?
My negotiations are going well. Some of them take more convincing than others.
You got some support you didn't count on.
Your support is not so good because they missed your target. But we have a lot of people on the street who'll take care of things. Just don't you worry.
I am worried about my wife.
Have you explained to Siobhan that she'll be safe if she stays at home?
Sure. She's safe. She's also scared and miserable. And let's face it, I didn't marry a stay-at-home type. She has a job and a family she stays in touch with.
Siobhan's a modern woman, and she has lots of guts. But, Joey, I think from now on you should be an old-fashioned husband. Keep her in line, for her own sake. I'll try to straighten things out here so that you two can lead your lives again. Hold up there.
Am I late, Mr. Novotny?
You're exactly on time, Ben. Please sit down.
Damn car battery. Well, anyway, that's neither here nor there. I was sorry to read about your troubles.
There's nothing to worry about. Everything is under control.
Oh, I know that. Who do those punks think they are? I'd hate to be in their shoes now. You've probably taken care of them.
I did some arrangements, yes.
Good. I mean good. Well, what can I do to help?
I need your legal and accounting skills, Ben. And, of course, your customary discretion.
Whatever it is, I'll do my best.
There's nothing complicated.
Anything. Anything at all.
We've had an intrusion in the EBB warehouse by a TV news lady. Larry had to take care of it.
Not that Mary Finelli who was killed in a traffic accident. Was she caught on time before she can call anyone?
Fortunately, yes, but it has made me stop and think.
I understand.
I have decided to move the drug-cutting operation out of the EBB warehouse. It's getting a little too close to home.
Very regrettable. That whole thing is just...
Now, this is extremely important. Mary Finelli is Joe's sister-in-law. Joe didn't know anything about this incident, and I don't want him to.
You know you can trust me, sir?
As a matter of fact, the whole incident has been very unsettling to me. She was a very lovely young lady. I hold her mother in very high regard. Larry did what he had to do, but the whole thing was very unfortunate.
I can certainly understand that.
It's all in the past now, and in order to be safe, I want to make a fresh start. And I think I know exactly the place for it.
A different warehouse, some small business. With all the publicity, some kind of cover is essential.
What would you think of a glamorous, big-time restaurant right in the middle of Central Park? Run by a terrific young lady who I know, and her brother, who happens to be an ex-policeman.
Mr. Novotny, if I had a hat, I'd take it off to you. An ex-policeman?
We'll keep him busy upstairs. I've got it all planned.
The young lady?
She's a family connection through Joey's marriage. But she mustn't know anything about this drug cutting. It will be in the sub-basement.
If you're satisfied.
I am. I think it's a perfect cover. Not only give us a base of operations far away from Sheepshead Bay, but we can wash a lot of money through the place. With your help, that is.
You won't have any trouble with the books, I promise you that.
I trust you to do your usual magic. The young lady's name is Mrs. Delia Coleridge.
Mrs. Coleridge?
I'll make arrangements for her to call you. But when she does, we don't know each other, you understand?
I deal only with her.
Well, from her standpoint, yes. But the weekly private reports come to me.
As usual.
Glassman's here with Delia, Tizo.
Thank you, George. You better make your exit out through the kitchen.
Yes, of course.
And remember, when she comes to you, you never heard of me.
Yes, sir.
I think I'll have some more wine, George.
Anything else?
No, I think I have everything I want. Good evening, Delia.
Tizo, I'm glad you're still here. I gotta talk to you.
Thank you for sending the car for me. It feels really elegant to be riding around in that limousine.
Use it any time you wish, Delia.
The only thing is that sometimes when I'm in it, I can't help wondering, What if somebody thinks I'm you?
The glass in those windows is 2 inches thick, and the body is reinforced. Believe me, you could be in church.
I don't know. Even here, I sort of feel funny.
George, Mrs. Coleridge doesn't feel safe in here.
In here? It's okay, really. Hey, we don't worry. They worry.
Believe me, and I'm speaking from experience, no harm will ever come to you in here.
Well, thank you for trying to make me feel better. Let's talk about our restaurant.
Your restaurant. You must start thinking of this as your restaurant.
My restaurant.
You have plans for it?
Oh, yes. I have a beautiful picture in mind. Big glass windows, crystal chandeliers, and outside all the limbs of the trees I want to decorate with little white lights.
Very pretty.
It's going to be like a fairyland. And inside I want to have deep, plush carpets, rich drapes, and the wood all inlaid with the words Delia's Place, or whatever it's going to be.
Sounds very elegant.
I'm after a rich look.
Well, I don't know whether your silent partner will be able to afford all this. Inlaid wood?
You think it should be beautiful, but sensible.
Well, don't you?
Well, of course. I mean, now that you mention it. And don't worry, I won't waste money. I mean, I might not be that good handling it myself personally, but professionally, I'm terrific.
I'm sure you are. By the way, do you know a top-notch lawyer and accountant who has experience in the restaurant business?
Well, one of my ex-husbands is a lawyer. But I don't think he'd do.
No, I think it should be both a lawyer and an accountant.
Well, that sounds pretty specialized. I don't know anybody like that.
Oh?
I thought we were going to use your accountant.
Listen, Delia. It's very important that none of my business associates be connected in any way with your restaurant.
Well, otherwise they might guess that you were connected with the place.
Precisely. So, I guess I can't help you.
Well, I'll just have to look around. I guess I'll find somebody.
Unless there is a name that comes to my mind. Bartos. Benjamin Bartos.
Who is he?
A business person, honest, very reliable. I've heard some very nice things about him. Somehow his name sticks in my mind.
Benjamin Bartos. You don't have his number?
I think you could find it in the telephone book.
Well, I'll call him right away. Only what do you want me to tell him about the money?
Why don't you tell him that you have invested your commodities profits in a corporation called TNT, which is a corporation that I control.
TNT, that's dynamite. I mean, that's a name I can remember. Well, that's all Benjamin Bartos needs to know. You will remain a silent and invisible partner.
Perfect.
This is great. I want everything to be organized and businesslike, and above all, legal.
I'm sure you do, my dear.
I'm not sure if the man is a biologist or a zoologist or whatever, but he's trained as a gorilla to teach him sign language, mind you. It's the first time Delia has had anything in common with Little John. She's fascinated. And Little John has all kinds of information about primate behavior, so he calls it. They're off to the zoo every time they get a chance. It's wonderful.
Oh, I don't know. Something right about Delia at the zoo?
Before we delve into that any further, I'm off to Brooklyn.
Well, you said that Joe sent a car for you.
Oh, he is. I just thought I'd get my stuff together.
Delia, why don't you, wouldn't it be easier to stay over? I mean, as long as you say that Joe is working late for the tax man, you only have to turn right around and come back to Manhattan tomorrow morning anyway.
Mother, please, stop worrying. It's been 3 days now and nothing has happened. Sheepshead Bay, there's very nice people out there. It's a quiet place, people like my husband. I'm safe there. Will you tell her?
Can't. I'm worried myself.
Honestly, the two of you... Well, even if it's only talk about a gang war, Emily's got plenty of reason to be frightened, dear.
Oh, Kathleen! Oh, dear.
Oh, why didn't you say anything? We'd got to pick you up. Oh, my word, you didn't say a word.
Oh, Siobhan. I didn't even know myself. But after I called you, and Art collected the kids from Ellen and Stuart, and we had our reunion and passed out the souvenirs from Paris and everything, I realized I wasn't even going to unpack. The kids are so happy to have Art back, they won't miss me, and it's fine with all of them. And I just had to come home and... Jack. Oh, Jack. And you, the one time in my life I go to Paris, you have to go and get married. I want another wedding. I want the whole thing repeated. Where is he, anyway? Just be happy, kid. That's all.
I am. Wish we'd waited for you.
I wish I'd never gone.
Oh, the two of you are not making a bit of sense. Now, have you seen your father? Why don't you take your coat off? Are you exhausted?
No, I want to talk all night. I have so many questions. When you feel like it, if you do, or Ma can tell me.
About Mary?
Yes.
Sure. Maybe you start, and I'll fill in the gap.
I did see Da downstairs, and I got your letter with all the details. But if Mary called that day and said not to start the wedding without her, that she'd be along in half an hour, and then they found her car so far away, well, I don't understand.
Well, dear, neither do we understand. No one can figure it out.
And she didn't give any clue before she died.
She said a few things, but nothing that explained anything.
And she was such a terrific driver.
Well, we figured that the car somehow went out of control. It was such a bad wreck that the police can't even tell.
Well, I don't see how.
I'm sorry, Cass. I can't fill in those gaps for you because I have the same ones myself.
Come on. Let's find your bed for tonight,
Don't disappear.
Oh, listen, the car's coming to pick me up in a few minutes, but I'll talk to you tomorrow, all right? I'll bring Joey by. You can meet him.
Great.
Cass, I'm awfully glad that you came. What?
It's questions. They need answers.
Well, Jack, the most important thing is that you were able to get to Mary in time. I care more about that than any questions.
Yeah, but seeing Cass confused like that, I remember I'm confused, too. Too many things don't fit, and I've got to get to work on it soon.
All right.
Hi. I'm parked right in front.
I'll be right down.
I better wait and walk you down. But you take your time.
Tell everyone that I said goodnight, okay?
Okay. Siobhan, be careful, huh?
Every minute. I am.
Tell me how Siobhan is. Really.
That's hard to say, dear. I mean, she's calm and bright and cheerful around your father and me. That would only be natural to do that. She's just told me that Joe said he wasn't worried and that we're supposed to relax. What would you say, Jack?
I think she's scared.
Yes.
How do you feel about Joe?
I like him. He loves Siobhan, I'm sure of that, but not much else.
Lately, I try to think of what I really am sure of these days. Thank heaven for you and Art and children. Everything is all right at home, isn't it?
Yes, Ma. We're well and happy and thoroughly boring, except for Paris. And now that's over, we'll be back in our little rut-in-no-time flat, which will suit me fine.
Oh, my solid Kathleen. My rock of Gibraltar. You're always a great help, even when you were 2 years old. Oh, I've missed you, darling. I really have.
I've missed you, too.
I'm going to look in on Ryan. I'll be back.
How should I talk to him? Have I been saying stupid things?
No. He just left us to have a couple of words to ourselves, that's all.
Well, it was a nice thing to do.
Yes, he's doing pretty well lately.
And how about you? You know, I tried to get back from Paris as fast as I could.
I'm sorry I wasn't here sooner.
Oh, what could you have done, Kathleen?
The telegram followed us around for a while, and when it was delivered, I read it, and I could feel how it was for you, and I needed to tell you that I knew the pain that you must have been going through.
You know, I know that Siobhan has so many of her own worries. I don't like to burden her with mine, but... Oh, my Kathleen.
Ah, hi. Is Joey finished with the accountant?
Oh, yes, long ago.
Well, where is he? You said that if he wasn't...
Relax. He's at the apartment, safe and sound. You can call him if you like.
I'm sorry, I guess I got my signals crossed, but I can take you right over there.
Oh, okay. Well, there's no rush. How are you doing?
Fine. How was your visit to Riverside?
Oh, it was wonderful. My sister's arrived home, the one who lives in Pittsburgh.
Oh, how nice. You haven't seen her since Mary's accident. Sit. Have some wine.
Thank you.
Must have been very difficult.
Well, it was sad, especially for Jack.
Of course.
All the questions surrounding Mary's death popping up again. Besides which, Jack's a reporter, and he's used to getting all the answers, you know. It was very painful.
He's still bothered about the phone call from Mary.
Well, she also said some things which didn't make sense before she died. Plus, Jack, she was very upset with Jack that morning, and she was upset with me, too. Anyway, there were just some problems that couldn't be resolved. So it all came flooding back when Kath started asking for explanations. Why the car had to crash, and why was it so far away from on that godforsaken place when supposedly she was on her way to Riverside. Guess I'm more tired than I realized. I ought to go home.
Mary talked to Jack before she died?
Yeah.
What did she say?
Well, Tizo, I'm not sure. Good night. I don't want to keep Joey.
No, you run along. Get Larry over here.
Well, now?
Now, fast.
I needed my girl. So does Adar. Let me go downstairs and see what's keeping that man.
Good to see you, Jack.
You too. I've thought so much about you.
I thought about you, too. Getting news and a telegram overseas.
Well, I guess the way I handled it is I didn't believe it. It was terrible, but not real somehow.
I feel that way sometimes myself. I was there. I said goodbye.
Thank God she wasn't alone.
Yeah.
And Matt gave her extreme unction.
Mac, me, and your parents. She held on for us.
Maybe you don't want to go into this now. You don't have to.
Does it help?
Well, I need to picture it. Morbid as that sounds. But it doesn't have to be all at once or all from you. Just whatever comes easily. How's Ryan doing? I'd like to hear about her, too.
It's okay. I can talk about Mary. The way she died, trapped in that car, looking at me and trying to tell me. I've been seeing it over and over since she got here, like a piece of a movie. She wasn't conscious at first. The medic had Maeve talk to her. Maeve asked her to wake up. And then she told her, insisted. Mary opened up her eyes. No pain. She didn't feel anything. And she said to me that she loved me. I understood that very clearly. green hat. And she meant something. It wasn't just words. But I don't know what. So far.
Yes, sir. I was just getting into the car when George caught me. What is it? Some kind of problem?
Yes, Larry, there is some kind of problem.
Okay.
Only I don't explain it to you. You explain to me. The way Mrs. Finelli died. The car crash.
What about it?
You did a very thorough job.
Sure.
And explain to me, Larry, how come she woke up and talked before she died?
No. Wait! You. Who are you?
Jack, you're going to have a stiff neck there.
No!
Oh, Jack, I'm sorry. I startled you. Oh, it's Maeve, darling. I'm afraid you must have been in a sound sleep.
I was dreaming.
Well, are you all right?
No. Something's wrong.
What's
I
wrong?
can't remember. Oh. I don't know. No, I'm all right. It was a dream. I have to remember. I can't. I was scared.
Excuse me, Mr. Novotny, but, I don't know what you mean.
I'm asking you why Mrs. Finelli was left in a condition where she could regain consciousness and speak to her husband before she died.
She couldn't have.
She did.
Mr. Novotny, I swear, we put her in that car. Her neck was broken. Her skull was fractured. There was no pulse. I drove with her in that car out the Belt Parkway. There was no sign. Well, she couldn't have.
Sit down, Larry. I think I better hear the whole story.
Okay, about noon that day, I go from the warehouse with some stuff for Duke, one of our regulars. I meet him in this coffee house as usual. Well, he gives me the money. I pass him a half kilo of Coke. Then I drive from the coffee house back to the warehouse. About 5 minutes after I get there, I come out from the side office. There's this woman standing in the doorway to the warehouse. Hey, you're back there, and I know Dave is with you, and also I know the stuff is being cut. Well, she has to see it from where she's standing. She leaves in a real hurry. I wait about a minute, and I follow her. She's already making a call from the phone booth.
That was to her father. Fortunately, she didn't tell him anything of importance.
She was moving real fast, Mr. Novotny. I was trying to be careful. I didn't know who was with her, who might be outside.
Go on.
Well, I'm by the booth, and then I hear a call in the Narcotics Bureau. Now, that's the call I stopped.
Yes?
I get her inside. That's when I recognize her from another time at the coffee house. She was there with a guy and this kid that Duke had some trouble with. I still don't know who she is, you understand? I don't watch Channel 1 News. I have no idea of the connection with Joe.
Larry, I told you you'd done what you're supposed to do.
All right. She hides in the warehouse, and it took us some time to find her. I hit her once in the back of the head. Her neck was broken. It was Dave who recognized. He says, hey, that's that Mary Finelli from the television news. That's when I put it together with Joe. Knew we had to make it look like an accident. We laid out the plan, and then I sent Dave to check it out with you.
And I was told that you would put her in the car and make an accident, and after dark.
About 5 that day, we drove out the belt. Dave followed in his car. We found the spot. I put her in the driver's seat, put the safety belt around her, put her in gear, dropped her down the hill and over the embankment. That car fell 15, 20 feet. I thought she was dead before we left the warehouse.
She wasn't. The police called her husband, and he and Mr. and Mrs. Ryan were with her when she died. She awoke just long enough to talk to them.
What did she say?
For your sake, Larry, I'm glad to say that there was nothing definitive. However, Mr. Finelli has had time to think it over, and he's formulating some questions about the whole business, and that may mean serious trouble. So, what are we going to do about it?
Just lying there, thinking about Mary, the accident, and what she said.
Yes?
I fell asleep. It had something to do with the man in the green hat. And trying to find... What?
I don't know, darling.
Who has a green hat?
Oh, Jack, I have thought about that so many times. Do you think there could have been someone in the car?
Maybe.
The man in the green hat. Oh, what a strange thing, what it took said.
Can't remember it. I can't get away from it. It was about Mary. It wasn't about Mary. It had something to do with the accident, but it didn't have anything to do with the accident. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do, dear. The whole thing is maddening. You know, I think that accident is going to bother all of us for a long, long time. I mean, there was something about it that was so unexpected, so unexplainable. I mean, the whole business has an unfinished feeling to it.
Yeah, well, that's what's getting me. She made it to the wedding, had a chance to really talk to one another and resolve a couple of things.
I'll be grateful for the rest of my life for the fact that she woke up enough to know that we were there with her.
You ought to know this if you don't already.
Hmm?
We had a misunderstanding the night before. Yeah. But it wasn't serious in the sense that Mary knew I loved her, and I know she loved me. I'll always know it. Okay?
Yes, darling. Thank you.
I don't think that's what's bothering me. It's the questions. And I want some answers. Where was she from the time she called Johnny until we got to her at the accident? Nobody saw it happen. Nobody knows when it happened. Was she stuck in the car all that time? Well, this road isn't very busy, but a couple of cars have to go by there. And, of course, in that afternoon, she couldn't have been there all that time. One of these days, I'll just have to go there soon and see for myself.
Oh, Jack, don't do that. That would only be tormenting yourself. No matter when or how, it won't change things.
No, of course it won't. Just need to know, that's all.
Let me define things for you, Larry. I was very distressed about what happened to Mrs. Finelli. I liked her. Very fond of her family. You did the right thing. But I don't mind saying that I was pleased not to give the direct order, even though under the circumstances there was no alternative, and I would have given it. But I am not pleased about the fact that you weren't more careful. But I depend on you. You've never disappointed me before, so I'm going to overlook it this time.
Thank you, Mr. Novotny.
No real harm will be done if we can come up with something that will answer Mr. Finelli's questions now, before he has a chance to answer them himself.
How do we find out what his questions are?
I think I know what the questions are. Why didn't his wife turn up at the wedding? He had a quarrel with her the night before, something to do with Siobhan. Was that the reason? Where was she all that afternoon? And why was she on the Belt Parkway at the time of the accident?
I got an idea.
Yes, George?
What if Mrs. Finelli talked to somebody just before the accident? And what if this person keeps thinking about the conversation and feels bad about what happened? And then this person gets in touch with Mr. Finelli and tells him what she said.
If that were the case, George, I think our problem would be solved. You understand, Larry?
I sure do.
Get on it right away.
Yes, sir.
One more thing. I haven't lied to Joy, but I haven't volunteered any information either. He doesn't know that Mrs. Finelli's death had anything to do with us. He believes, what the family believes, that she died in a motor accident. And I want him to continue believing that as long as we can manage it.
Yes, sir.
What are you looking at?
My dog. I'm thinking how glad I am to have her here with me, and wondering why she feels compelled to do my house cleaning every time I turn my back.
I'm almost finished.
Kathleen Margaret and Ryan Thompson. Still works, doesn't it?
It always did.
Darling, I really appreciate you trying to help out, but everything's under control here. I'm doing fine.
Are you?
Yes. I'm not saying it hasn't been difficult, or that it's over. But every day it gets a little easier. I still miss my Mary, but I always will. There's still a lot of her with us. There's the memories, and there's Jack, and the little one in there.
Is Ryan really the image of her at that age, or am I just seeing that because I want to?
Yeah, everyone sees it. She's been such a comfort to Jack these last few weeks.
I'm sure.
Mother? Right in here, darling. Hi. Hello, darling. What are you doing here?
Well, they gave me the morning off, so I just thought I'd stop by. How are you? I'm fine.
Did Joseph come here with you?
No. When am I going to meet that husband of yours? Oh, you'll see him.
I hope so.
I'm sorry, am I interrupting something?
No. Sit down. We're just talking about Jack and Ryan.
It's still amazing to me to see them together like that.
Why?
That's right, you were in Seattle when Ryan was born. I'm sure you heard, though. Of course, I only saw part of it. Jack was so determined that he didn't want her or love her, and now...
Oh. He didn't want Ryan. He's frightened. He was alone for so many years, and now all of a sudden there was Mary and a child. I'll never forget the first moment when he decided to connect to her. Oh, it was splendid.
The first time the nurse brought Maura into me, I remember looking at her, and there was this person, my daughter. By the time Deirdre came around, I figured it would be old hat.
It wasn't. You hoped it. Wait so long. And then, actually, they're there. Oh, it's always a surprise. It's a grand sense to have a whole little person there. I remember what the doctor said about you. He said you were the most peaceful child. Always on schedule. When to be fed, when to have your nap. Where Francis was totally different. He had a mind of his own. He was ready to reorganize the routine of the entire hospital. The same with Mary. Patrick was a happy little one. Oh, he could make the nurses laugh. They never knew how, but he could do it. And you were quiet.
There goes that theory out the window.
No. It just was saving it up. Surprise us later on.
All this talk about babies is making me homesick. Do you know, I can be away from the girls one night, and I don't believe how much I miss them. Every now and then when we were in Paris, Art and I would be at the Louvre or in a restaurant, and I'd be thinking if I were home now, I'd be taking Maura to her ballet class or hearing them say their prayers. The domestic sister, the suburban bore, I know.
No.
It's all right. I know I'm domestic and orderly, and you know what? I don't care. I don't care because I love it. I love the routine and the structure and the security. I always did. It's what I knew. Like what we had when we were growing up.
Oh, that's what we had. Mm-hmm. Oh, another county there, son. That's the little one I promised to take her to the park. That's her subtle way of reminding me.
Oh, let me help.
No.
Ma, I want to.
All right, come on. Oh, Siobhan, was there something that you wanted to talk to me about?
No. Go
All
ahead.
right.
He's fine, isn't he? Hello, Prince Albert. How are hurt him. You were shooting those things at him. I saw it. Look how upset he is. Big deal. It is a big deal because you hurt him. You don't know what he's been through lately. His wife just decided she didn't like him anymore, and they had to send her off to the Staten Island Zoo, and now you're teasing him and confusing him? Stop, lady. You're breaking my heart. Give me another T-Rex. Don't you dare! Owen! Everybody here! God, help! They're gone. Don't worry.
What's going on?
These two kids were teasing him. They were shooting things at him and laughing. They ran off their blocks away right now.
It's all right, Albert. Okay, fella.
I think he's scared.
Just take it easy, Al. You're among friends now.
I didn't know what to do.
It's okay. Okay, fella. You want to come over here and see us? Come on. Come on, boy.
They won't hurt you anymore.
That's a good boy.
Is he all right?
Sure. He's a lot tougher than he looks.
That's good.
It seems he's getting to know you.
Really?
Sure. He wouldn't have come over here that way otherwise. It means he trusts you.
That's so nice. Oh, I brought you some coffee. I don't know how you take it, so I brought some with milk and some without.
Oh, well, that's just fine. Thanks a lot. That's